This is Brent Allen Winters, commonlawyer.com, www.commonlawyer.com, coming at you from the remote hinterlands of the Wabash River Valley, where the hogs, the frogs, and the dogs keep up a racket all night long. Let's do another one. This is the Catechism of the Constitution of the United States by Arthur J. Stansbury, published in the year 1828 by Hillard Gray Little and Wilkins. Let's go to the next question, number 56. Talking about the Constitution of the United States, and we're talking about using the Catechism to learn something about it, and where we think the Catechism was, well, where I disagree with it, I might say so, and I do, but in the main, of course, there's nothing wrong with the Catechism. In the main, as mate like to say, he's right-headed. He's going down the same road I like to go down. And you could be traveling with somebody on the same road and headed the same direction, but not agree about everything. I like to find those kind of people. I do know people that think they got to agree on everything or they won't have anything to do with anybody. I remember a fellow back in the 70s. He was an economist with a PhD. His name was Stuart Crane. Stuart Crane. He's deceased now. Quite a man. He understood economics. He understood the Federal Reserve Bank. He was a professor at a university, very famous in fundamentalist circles, named Bob Jones University in the state of South Carolina. Bob Jones. And he had a lecture that he delivered about wheat. He grew up on the farm out in Kansas, I believe, and he delivered a lecture about wheat and how the sale and the storage of wheat is conducted to explain how the Federal Reserve Bank operates its ruse. Stabbing presentation. Clear. Well, he got up to deliver a lecture or a presentation at Bob Jones at some event. And all he did was he cataloged all the members of the faculty and board that were Freemasons, 32nd degree. He said this is improper. Well, Bob Jones, the second or third or whichever one it was, blew a proverbial head gasket. I think it was Bob Jones the third. Fired him forthwith. He ended up becoming a primitive Baptist preacher. Now, that's the official term. Back home in the Wabash Valley, we call them hard-shelled Baptist. Abe Lincoln was raised in southern Indiana, southeast Indiana, as a hard-shelled Baptist. So much we don't pay attention to in history. What is a hard-shelled Baptist? Well, I've been, they got some of them at home. I think 3 churches just around there where I've been, I've spoken at some of them. Well, there's something else. You can go look them up. Just look up hard-shelled Baptist, primitive Baptist. Well, that's what this guy became. And he wouldn't even talk to anybody. He wouldn't even have a discussion after that, after he became a hard-shelled Baptist preacher. He wouldn't discuss anything with anybody if they didn't agree with him that the King James Bible was the inspired word of God, dictated straight to the authors. Such an intelligent man, such an insightful man, but he had that, I consider that a flaw. Then I ask myself, what flaws do I have? Because if you got one, you don't think it's a flaw usually. You think it's a virtue. I'm sure many of you listening are saying, oh, I know what your flaws are. That's not really fair because I don't know you well enough to know what yours are, but that's okay. I put myself out here and do what I do. Let's do one more question. Question number 56. Who choose the members of the Senate of the United States? Answer. Watch this. This isn't done anymore. And we've claimed to have changed the Constitution. Who chooses members of the Senate of the United States? Answer. The legislature of each state chooses the senators for that state. We're talking U.S. senators. Remember, every state, our Constitution says, has 2 U.S. senators. And then every state has differing numbers of members of the House of Representatives depending upon the population of the state. See? That way, we have one house that each state has equal representation, the Senate, another house where the states have proportional representation according to population. Senate of the United States is chosen by each of the state legislatures, not by the people in popular vote. That's what our framers intended. That's what the ratifiers of our Constitution, which was the militiamen of the several states, that's what they intended. Remember, it says, we, the people. Who are the people? Well, they tell us, the militiamen of the several states. How many senators may there be? Answer, 2 from each state. That's simple enough. Question number 58. When a citizen is chosen by the legislature of his own state to be a member of the Senate of the United States, how long does he continue as a senator? How long is his term? Answer. Some of you are quizzing yourselves and saying, I know the answer to that one. Good. Check yourself out. See if you know some of these answers. He's chosen, the senator is chosen for 6 years. If he dies before expiration of that 6 years or resigns his office, that is, if he declares it to be his wish not to be a senator any longer, resigns, another senator is appointed in his place. That's simple enough. Don't want to no state would want a vacancy, not have the representation. Question 58. When a citizen is chosen by the legislature of his own state to be a member of the Senate of the United States, how long does he continue? We did that one, I'm sorry. Are all the senators chosen at the same time as members of the House of Representatives are chosen? Let me read that again. Are all the senators from the states chosen at the same time as members of the House of Representatives are chosen? Answer. What do you think? Yes or no? No. Only 1/3 are chosen at a time. Every 2 years, or every 6 years, 1/3 of the senators are chosen. So 2/3 of the senators stay there. So there's a rotation nonstop. That House or that Senate, that House of the legislature called the U.S. Senate, if there's going to be any change there, it's designed to change very slowly. You got the same people there. Even if you get rid of 1/3 of them, you still got 2/3 of them there that are in control, or could be in control, I should say. The Senate is designed to move slow. The House of Representatives is designed to have knee-jerk reactions to the voters. Why? How? The whole House of Representatives runs for office every 2 years. Only 1/3 of the U.S. Senate runs for office every 2 years. Because their 6-year terms are staggered, so it comes out that way. Again, the design is the House of Representatives, those guys they can't afford to ever stop running for office. It is more of a political branch of the legislature than the Senate. The Senate is slower, more contemplative. They got 6 years. Then only 1/3 stands for re-election every 2 years. So the House of Representatives is designed to be more responsive directly and immediately within knee-jerk reactions, yes, to the people in their district. That's politics, friends. It's not pretty. Our government is not fundamentally political, but there is a branch that is political. But of that branch, really, the most political is the House of Representatives. We try to confine it. We have to have the political element in our government. And this House of Representatives is what the English began to call during that terrible revolution when the King of England entered the House to arrest the Speaker. That was just one thing that happened. There were others. They went to war. Why? And so they started using the term, watch me close here. This is a misnomer that we use now, and it's a false term. They started to say, you're either a monarchist, in other words, you support the absolute power of the emperor, crown, or you are a Republican. You support the absolute power of the legislature. That was an unfortunate change of vocabulary. The word republic and republicanism weren't used before that because we are not a republic. A common law government is not a republic. A republic is all about majority rules and shit like democracy. It's the same. It's a synonym. It just stresses a different aspect of democracy. That's all the word republic does. Well, we know, apparently. Do we know what it means? When you hear patriots say, we're a republic and we're going to stay that way, do they really know what they're saying? I don't know. I've never heard one describe it. I don't think they do. Again, the Greeks invented the word democracy and republic. They came from the ancient Greek city-states. They wrote a lot about it. Plato, famous man, sex pervert to the hilt, pedophile, wrote the Republic by Plato. And in that book, all the college students read it. You can read it too. In that book, he advocates that all children should be taken away from their parents right after birth and raised by the state. Do you really see any difference between the Republican Party and the Democrat Party? Isn't it something that the evil empire has manipulated the names of our two parties as synonyms for democracy? Don't think words don't have power and meaning. They do. And that really, again, happened during the English Revolution when Parliament said, Republicanism, that means political legislature, power, rule by the legislature. And the Crown said, no, I rule. And about 70,000 people died in that war. Terrible. Well, our American Revolution was a continuation of that problem. And there were people foolish enough and stupid enough to say, no, the legislature should be in charge. I mean, that's close to the people, see? Majority rule of the legislature. Well, after our war from separation from Britain, a few states tried that. They said, we're getting rid of the government. We don't need a governor. That's like having a king. We don't need the courts. That's just superfluous. But why do you want judges trying to pass their opinions on what the legislature says? We're Republicans. We want Republican government, pure Republican government. And they did. And they found out that to have a legislature run the government is to multiply the number of tyrants. That's what they found out, and they all quit, the ones that tried it. Most notably, I think it was Pennsylvania. They were always wanting to try something new in Pennsylvania. Those Quakers there, they seem to think that the new ideas and the creativity of the mind of man is more important than proven fact of history, how things really work. Didn't work. They quit. They went back to common law government. What's common law government? 3 branches, co-equal. None of the 3 branches trumps any of the others. That puts the ultimate power back with the people and their expression, the people, the militiamen's expression of ultimate sovereign power. It is in individual instances with the jury. And that's the only way to get justice. There is no justice with legislation. Justice is an individual matter. It only comes to the individual. There is no such thing as group justice. The evil empire and the republics and the communist countries and the dictatorships of the world say, oh, there is group justice. We're going to have justice for this country. There is no such thing. Never has been. Never will be. God has not designed it that way. Justice is an individual matter of the individual man and the individual woman, and that only happens when you come to court and you try to get justice for your case, your particular matter, and you get before the jury. And if we ever lose our jury, that power vacuum of ultimate decision is going to go somewhere. And you're under tyranny. I don't care where it goes. If you don't have the jury, you're under tyranny. And America is the only country, the English-speaking world, are the only part of the world that's ever had juries. I just heard a case the other day. Where was it? Some country. They had the jury. And I thought, they got a jury? This was back during World War II. They had a jury? I got to read more about it. That's really something. It wasn't a common law country. And then I saw it was a jury. Yeah, they called it a jury, but it was by majority rule. That's not the jury. Common law jury is all or nothing. Not majority rule. More than six, and you go to, so more than six, that'd be half a 12-man jury. If 7 people vote to execute you, you'll get executed. You're guilty. We don't do that in America because we're a common law country. That's not the jury. That's still using the majority principle, see? So that's the way that works. Well, Miss Francine, if you'd play another song for us, then we'll look at some of those questions. Can we do that?
Sure.
All right.
Look at which questions are you referring to?
Well, you raised some questions. You posted them. I don't know if they were yours or not, but you posted them.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now. I thought you wanted that on Sunday, but I've got them ready.
Oh, well, maybe we need to. No, wait, you're right. No, let's see. Yeah, let's do them tomorrow. Let's do them tomorrow. Because that's the day it happened. We'll have maybe the same audience.
Okay, and I will post them in the Zoom chat for you tomorrow. So
thank you, Ms. Francine. So come back and listen tomorrow at In Church. And I made some pretty strident statements about God. And Miss Francine posted some questions that ought to be answered with those statements.